Hi, welcome back to my channel. In our last video, we have discussed on the recent reform by the government of Australia on negative gearing and capital gain tax. And in this video, we are looking at one simple question. If three investors buy or already own effectively the same property, do the tax outcome stay the same? The answer is no. Under the proposed reform framework used in this example, the timing of purchase and the type of property can materially change annual cash flow, borrowing capacity, and tax outcome when the property is eventually sold. So rather than talk in broad terms, we will work through a controlled scenario: same property value, same loan size, same interest rate, same rental yield, and the same tax rate assumption. The only thing we change is the investor category. That lets us isolate the policy effect and see where the numbers actually move. Here is the framework for the comparison. We are not trying to forecast the property market, and we are not saying this is the outcome of every investor. We are using one worked example to show how different rules can create different outcome from the same starting point. The important phrase is same property, three distinct investors outcome. The three investors are shown here. Investor A is the grandfathered investor. The person bought or was already committed to buying before the proposed cutoff date. In this example, investor A keeps the existing negative gearing treatment and 50% capital gain tax discount. Investor B is the post-reform buyer of an established property. This investor is most affected in the model because rental losses are quarantined instead of being immediately offset against the salary income. Investor B also moved to the indexation plus 30% capital gain tax reform. Investor C is the new build buyer. Even though this person buy after the reform date, the example assumes new construction remain eligible for the existing concessions. That means investor C looks much more like investor A than investor B. This is the core point. The physical property can either be similar, but the tax treatment can be very different. Before we go to the cash flow numbers, it is worth pausing on the assumption. A scenario like this only works if we keep the input consistent. Otherwise, we could not know whether the result came from the tax rules, the property, or the loan structure. So, in the model, all three investors are attached to the same 700,000 residential property. The loan is 80% loan to value ratio, which means a 560,000 loan. The interest rate is 5.25%. The gross rental yield is 3%. And the other ownership costs are estimated at 1% of the property value. We also use an illustrative 39% marginal tax rate to measure the value of deduction. These assumptions are deliberately simple. The aim is not to capture every cost that could appear in real life, but to create a clean comparison that shows how tax treatment changes annual holding cost and eventually capital gain calculation. For advisors, brokers, and investors, this is why scenario modeling matters. Two people can look at the same asset and each reach different conclusions because one person can use the tax loss immediately and the other person cannot. Now we move to the part investors usually feel first: cash flow. Capital gain may happen years later, but the annual holding cost is felt every month. This is also the piece that can affect serviceability when a lender assesses the capacity for the next loan. The property generates $21,000 of rent per year based on 3% gross yield. Interest on the loan $560,000 at 5.25% is about $29,400 per year. Then we add roughly $700,000 for other costs such as rates, insurance, maintenance, and property management. So the pre-tax loss is $15,400. That is the annual gap between income and expenses before tax. For investor A and investor C, that loss can be offset against salary income in this example. At a 39% marginal tax rate, that create a refund of about $6,000. So the after-tax annual holding cost falls to roughly around $9,400. For investor B has a different experience. The 15,400 loss still exists, but it is quarantined. That means no immediate salary offset in the current year. So rather than $9,400 after tax cost, investor B is carrying it closer to the full $15,400 for the year. The difference is about $6,000 per year or roughly $500 per month. In a household budget, that can matter. It can also influence borrowing capacity because lenders focus on whether the borrower has enough cash flow to servicing existing and future debt. The exact impact depends on the lenders and borrower's full circumstances, but in this scenario it is clear. Investor B has a heavier cash flow burden. Cash flow is only half the story. The property investor also cares about the exit. So the next question is, what happens when the asset is sold? This is where the comparison between the traditional 50% CGT discount and an indexation-based model becomes important. Under the traditional model, the taxable capital gain is reduced by 50% CGT discount, with tax then applies at investor's marginal rate. In this example, that is the treatment retained by investor A and investor C. Under the alternate model used for investor B, the cost base is adjusted for inflation and the remaining real gain is taxed at 30%. This means the result depends heavily on the gap between capital growth and inflation. If the property grows at 4% per year while inflation is 3%, a large part of the nominal gain is effectively inflation rather than real growth. In this environment, indexation can produce a lower tax bill than the old 50% discount. But that is not a universal conclusion. If the property price rises strongly while inflation stays low, the old 50% discount can become more attractive because it shelters half of much larger gain. In other words, the winner depends on the scenarios. Growth rate, inflation rate, holding period, and personal tax position all matters. That is why the right takeaway is not simply that one method is always better. The right takeaway is that investors need to model the crossover point under their own assumptions. So, what does all this means in practice? The next slide summarizes the main implication for investors, advisors, and mortgage brokers. First, grandfathered investors are in the strongest position in this example. They retain the annual tax offset and the existing capital gains framework that helps both cash flow today and disposal calculator later till 30th of June 2027. Post that, capital gain tax will be same for all the investors. Second, new build buyer remains highly competitive because the assumed concessions are preserved. That creates a clear policy incentive towards new housing supply. Third, buyers of established properties after the cutoff has to be more careful. The loss may still be deductible in the same form later, but if it cannot be used immediately against salary income, the holding cost increases today. That can affect your budget, risk tolerance, and also the borrowing capacity. Fourth assumption matters. The capital gain outcome changes with growth, inflation, and tax rate, loan structure, and holding period. So, a simple headline rule can be misleading unless it is tested against actual numbers. For an investor, the practical message is to run both the annual cash flow test and the long-term sale test before making decision. Finally, before we close, it is important to frame this properly. This is a scenario analysis. It is designed to support understanding and education, not to predict the market or give personal advice. The figures in this presentation are illustrative only. They use simplified assumptions so we can compare and categorize clearly. Real investment outcome will depend on the actual property, the loan, interest rate, maintenance cost, vacancy, rental growth, tax position, and future policy setting. The bigger lesson is that taxation is only one part of the property decision. Investors still need to consider asset quality, financing structure, risk tolerance, market condition, and personal circumstances. If you are assessing a purchase, speak with an accountant or a mortgage broker or licensed advisor who can model the number for your own situation. At GKTC, the goal is grounded knowledge and better decision making. The same property can produce different outcomes. So the smartest move is to understand the assumption before committing capital. If you like the video, please hit the button subscribe and let me know your views in the comment. Thanks till we speak in our next video.